Welcome back. I'm Kevin O'Keefe. At issue today, technology brings teens together. The physical demands of fighting cancer can be horrific. But what about the emotional battles, the loneliness and isolation, the secret you don't want your friends to know? Maybe you're the only one at school with cancer. Your teachers, doctors, even your parents, brothers and sisters don't understand. Well, that's where Teen Connect comes in. The website connects teens dealing with cancer to other teens going through the same thing. And the co-creator of Teen Connect, Lauren Donnelly, joins us. Welcome to the show, Lauren.
Thank you.
Let's start at the beginning. You were 15. Tell me, you were diagnosed with cancer. What happened?
Yep, I had just moved to a new town, and I was 15 years old when I was diagnosed. I was having, symptoms that I didn't really think that it would be the diagnosis that it was.
You're just feeling tired?
Yeah, I was very tired. I had a lot of tightness in my chest and discomfort in my groin. I was very achy and flu-like. And so, being an active and healthy teenager, that's just what I thought it was. I thought I was just, under the weather.
So you went to the doctor?
Yeah, so I ended up, the pain that I was experiencing ended up snowballing to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore, and I went to my doctor and got some tests done, and that's where they diagnosed me with leukemia.
What's that like, hearing that diagnosis at 15?
I mean, even being asked this question now, I get speechless, because you just don't ever dream in a million years, no matter what age you are, but especially when you're a teenager.
With your whole life ahead of you. And
yeah, and I went from being a soccer player and a dancer and, being extremely active and, going to school. And then a few weeks later, after my diagnosis, I was bedridden, dropped out of school, was in the hospital on a daily basis. So it just shakes your life, turns it upside down, and it was very scary.
And you said at any age, no one wants to hear that diagnosis. Why is that particularly difficult for teenagers?
I mean, teenagers don't really have the life experience and the maturity yet to understand just how huge and scary a cancer diagnosis is. I mean, even adults sometimes can't really wrap their heads around it unless they've been in the situation. So for me to be a 15-year-old and have to explain to my peers that I can't do the basic, simple things that I used to be able to do, like, going to the movies or going for even just a walk. It's hard for people of that age to understand and to sympathize for what you're going through if they can't put themselves in that position. I
alluded to at the beginning the physical demands on your body, which I'm sure are horrific. How did that affect you emotionally?
It was very difficult. Of course, there's all the physical side effects that you go through from your treatment and the chemotherapy, and you experience fatigue and you're tired all the time. So, like I said, being an active teenager to not being able to walk up the stairs to bed at night and not being able to, do simple things like go fix yourself lunch or things like that. I mean, that's huge. And then the emotional effects from that is huge, because you feel like you're not capable of doing the things that you were used to doing. It's very lonely. It's very isolating. You feel very different. It's
nothing that a teenager, anybody, but especially a teenager, where you're just coming into yourself and learning about who you are and how your place in the world and how it shrinks.
I mean, being a teenager is hard at the best of times. You're going through all those. You're going through body changes and emotional changes to begin with, and then when you throw in a life-threatening disease, it's just tenfold to the challenges that teenagers experience anyways.
Let's talk about Teen Connector. Where did the idea come from?
Well, Teen Connector is run by the Childhood Cancer Foundation, so they do all the funding and all the advertising for it. And my role is to be a mentor and a coordinator on the site. So the idea basically just came from the fact that teenagers, because of the awkward age and the awkward stage that you're going through, they don't really like to come out and meet face-to-face and socialize because they're dealing with all the issues that they're going through. So they may be ashamed to come out of their hospital room with no hair. They're feeling sick, they're tired, they're not up to socializing and, meeting other people.
So the idea of going to a support group, maybe for anybody, but especially someone who's feeling very self-conscious.
Absolutely.
They can't just go down the street or go to the hospital and sit in a room with a bunch of people because they don't want anyone to see them.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's doubly isolating that way. So how does Teen Connector work? You actually have it here on. So obviously you can use it on an iPhone.
Yeah, well, the beauty of it is that, it's a tool that's used on the internet, so you don't have to come out of your room and you don't have to experience that feeling of being uncomfortable meeting other people, because you can be in the comfort of your own room or your own home, your hospital room, wherever you happen to be, even in the lobby of to go and get your treatment.
So you're sitting in the waiting room or
yeah,
ready to go
wherever you are.
You can just log on and...
Absolutely. So you can log on.
And this is you here, this picture?
It is, yes.
How did you come to get your picture then?
It is. When I was on treatment, I lost my hair. I had some professional photos taken just as a memory to look back on that and see how far I've come. And so I wanted to put that on the site so that when teens with cancer log on, they can immediately identify with the face that they see on the website that, this person has no hair and they're broadcasting it to whoever logs on. And
hiding in their room.
Exactly. I want it to be a catalyst for teens to feel comfortable with the situation that they're in.
So how exactly does the site work? When somebody logs on, what can they do?
Well, Teen Connector is a social networking website, so it's got a lot of the traditional aspects of social networking sites that exist that teens are already very active on.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have when you log on, you have a profile, so you can upload photographs and have a little blurb about yourself so that other users can get to know you and know what kind of cancer you have and some of the experiences that you've had, because every treatment is different. Everyone goes through different things. Some people are on chemotherapy, some have radiation, some have surgery, so everyone has unique experiences. So it's got a lot of those features. We have public discussion groups where they can go on and chat about whatever issues they may be dealing with.
What kind of things do they chat about?
Anything.
You're on the site almost every day, you told me.
Yeah, I use the site quite a lot. So a lot of the popular discussion groups are, how you kept yourself entertained when you were in isolation, hospital visits, where did you buy your wig? How did you tell your friends that you were sick, and how did it change your relationships? So just anything that's relevant in the life of a teen going through this illness, they can talk about it.
You said there's a second component to it, which is a mentorship component. Yeah. How does that work? And you're a mentor.
I am, yes.
How does that work?
So we have older survivors on the site that are role models for the newer teens that are diagnosed and are new to the site. So they go through a bit of a process, and obviously we want to pick people that are going to be positive influences on the teens, because they're at a vulnerable state and we don't want anyone being on there. So university students, people that have taken their experience and done positive things with it, we have them on the site, and they're there to inspire the teens and motivate them and keep them feeling positive and happy. And
you're a mentor yourself?
I am.
What questions are you sort of hearing from, are you mentoring people?
I mean, anything. People come and ask anything. And the thing that is so great about Teen Connector is that there's a bit of privacy to it, where you're anonymous. And
oh, really?
You can,
my question isn't going to be posted so everyone else can see it?
That, and I find that teenagers are a little bit more comfortable asking more candid questions and more embarrassing questions about the changes that they're going through with their body, because they aren't face-to-face. They're behind their computer, and you can ask, more uncomfortable questions and not feel so ashamed. So I find that I get a lot of questions about school, going back to school, and how did I cope with that after my treatment when I had no hair and I had to explain to people what I had gone through.
How does that make you feel now that you're a mentor to somebody else who 5 years ago was getting that diagnosis of perhaps leukemia?
It makes me feel great that I'm able to be there for someone that is going through such a challenging thing, because when I was on treatment and I was at that stage, this kind of tool didn't exist. So I just didn't really meet a lot of people that were in the same boat as me because they, like I said, weren't comfortable coming out of their room and, you know, chatting with people and being bald out in public. And so
So you never had that when you were...
No, I didn't. And when I did want to find someone to talk to, it was a huge, big process. For a personal example is that through my treatment, I had a lot of side effects that were very hindering to my everyday life. So I've had a lot of joint replacements, and my mobility was affected. I wasn't able to walk.
Wow. And
so as a 18-year-old having to go in and have my hips replaced, I thought the only person I'm going to be able to have this conversation with is a 70-year-old.
Your grandmother.
Exactly. Is an older person that's having the same type of surgeries that I'm having. So it was an extremely long process of speaking to social workers and people in the hospital, and I did end up finding a teenager that was in a similar situation to myself. And that was, I mean, it changed my life to know that there was just one person out there in the same situation. So for these teens to be able to
just log on
and exactly, it happens in a matter of minutes. And I mean, that's fantastic. They don't have to go through weeks of feeling like an alien, like I'm the only person that has this problem. So.
There are people listening, though, that will say it must be difficult for you to be reliving. Like some people would want to put that behind themselves and never think of it again. And almost daily, you're confronted with people who went through this very painful, difficult experience. Does that ever affect you and get you down, seeing this going on?
I mean, obviously it has the potential to do that, but I just find that if I approach the teens with a positive attitude and I lift their spirits up, there is no negative conversations going on. It doesn't bring me down. It doesn't bring them down. And it's just... that's my role. My role is to, you know, kind of pay it forward. There's people that came before me that went through their treatment and made it so that, you know, I could go through my experience a bit more comfortably. So I just feel like it's my job to do the same thing and motivate other people. And maybe it won't be such a negative experience for them and, you know, emotionally draining if they have someone that's been through it before to talk to.
Someone is watching right now and is getting that diagnosis, has just gotten that diagnosis, or is currently going through treatment. How can they log on and connect with other teens?
Very easy. You just have to go to www.teenconnector.ca. And it's a very simple registration process. So you have the option, if you're a survivor, an older survivor, to register as a mentor and fill out your application, and that'll be submitted. Or if you're new to your diagnosis and you're a younger teenager that's still in hospital, you can register as a teen. And your profile will be created instantly, and you can get on there and start finding someone in the same boat as you.
Well, thank you very much for coming in and doing this wonderful work.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Well, up next, a team uses technology to discover a major scientific breakthrough. Stick around.